quiet because I'm going to go out, make sure our guests are lined up, and then we are going to be starting. Thank you. Annual Memorial Day ceremony. As our guests come in the gym today, I'm going to ask at this time that we please stand. And please remain quiet. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the presentation of the colors, followed by our national anthem, performed by Kingsway Regional's Dragon Singers. Please remain standing until the dismissal of the color guard.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous heights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Right. Hey. Howard. Art.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Good morning. Welcome to Kingsway Regional High School and our 31st annual Memorial Day ceremony. My name is Stephanie Fox-Mano, and I'm the honored principal to stand here today to continue this tradition. Each year at Kingsway, we are honored to play a small part in ensuring that the true purpose of Memorial Day is never forgotten. Memorial Day is a time to honor and remember the brave men and women who gave their lives in service to our country. Today, our remembrance carries additional meaning. As our country approaches its 250th year, we reflect not only on where we began, but on the countless sacrifices that have sustained us along the way. From the earliest days of this nation, beginning in the time of the American Revolution, there have been those willing to stand in defense of an idea that liberty is worth protecting, that freedom is worth the cost, and that this nation, imperfect but enduring, is worth defending. But today is not about battles, it's not about victories, it's about sacrifice. Memorial Day asks something simple of us, yet profound: to remember. to remember those who never returned, to remember the empty chairs at family tables, and to remember that freedom that we enjoy every day has been secured by someone who was willing to give everything. For 250 years, this nation has endured not by chance, but by courage. Each generation has carried forward the promise first set into motion so long ago, a promise that has required vigilance, service, and at times, the ultimate sacrifice. Those we honor today are part of that unbroken line. They did not serve for recognition. They did not give their lives for celebration. They served for something greater than themselves. As we mark 250 years of this nation, let us not see it only as a milestone in time, but as a testament to those who have defended it. Let us remember that freedom is not guaranteed. It is preserved by those who are willing to stand in its defense. And today, above all, we remember those who stood and never came home. Through the ceremony today, we will learn more about this year's theme, 1776 through 2026, 250 years of sacrifice, as well as our own fallen dragons. At this time, I would like to draw your attention to the 2026 Memorial Day video.
Give me liberty, or give me death. A rallying cry that helped unite 13 British colonies in the fight against tyranny and oppression. We learn about the great Americans who led that cause, with their words, with their pens, and through the power of their ideas. But independence was not secured by a few. It was forged by many, by ordinary people who answered the call of freedom. And for 250 years, each generation has been called to do the same, to defend the freedoms won during the American Revolution. From Bunker Hill to the beaches of Normandy, from Appomattox to Iwo Jima, to the mountains and deserts of the War on Terror. Americans have answered that call, but no conflict tested our nation more deeply than the American Civil War. After 3 days of fighting at Gettysburg, more than 50,000 Americans were left dead or wounded. The bloodiest battle on American soil. Many were just boys, not much older than our students.
Sacrifice is selfless service, to do something without an award or reward.
You're willing to go out of your way and put aside any safety or comforts that you're familiar with for the safety of others.
The willingness to put the need of the greater good before yourself. It's easy to give of yourself when you're the one who gets some bonus for doing that.
Giving up something that I may value for the betterment of others. I missed a lot of time with my family. That was my sacrifice to give back to the country for the 21 years I served.
I sacrificed a lot of my personal time to my community, and that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I believe that giving back to the community is more important than things I do in my own personal life.
We should all try to give back a little bit, and we don't all have to serve, but we can still serve others.
Giving up your comfortability and those things we take for granted every single day, doing what's hard, but what is also right when it's needed.
They know what they're going into, like they might not come back, but they know how much better the world could be.
You're putting yourself on the line for a principle, especially you have the principles behind our Constitution, and I think that's worth sacrificing for.
At the dedication of the Soldiers' National Cemetery, Abraham Lincoln spoke just 272 words. Yet in that brief address, he captured the meaning of sacrifice and the responsibility of a nation. He said, "The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here." Those words did more than honor the fallen. They challenged us to remember.
We should remember the sacrifices from the past so that we don't have people that need to sacrifice the same thing again. They gave their lives for something that mattered and that will continue to matter for years to come.
If we don't recognize that there was a sacrifice to give us this freedom, this right, we're likely doomed to relive some of the stuff that brought us there in the first place.
If we don't learn about history, it'll repeat itself. If we don't learn about the reasons why there was sacrifice, the sacrifice will just keep on happening.
In 1868, General John Logan established what would become Memorial Day. The day set aside to honor those who died in defense of our country and to ensure their sacrifices would never be forgotten.
Memorial Day is about remembering those who have given a sacrifice, sometimes the greatest sacrifice, and the families that have to endure that.
Thinking about the men and women that fell on the battlefield. Think about the world they left for us.
Remembering what they served for, all the things that we have at home that they didn't get to come back to.
It's a day of honoring those who have fallen, and it's a day of commending what they have given us so that we can have freedoms in our everyday lives.
I don't think it's a time to mourn, but I think it's a time to celebrate what they've done for us.
In 1994, then Principal Tom Coleman gathered Kingsway students around the flagpole to remember 3 graduates who lost their lives in Vietnam, our fallen dragons. What began that day has become a time-honored tradition, carried forward by generations of students, faculty, and staff committed to ensuring their sacrifice is never forgotten.
They didn't even get to the prime years of their lives and understand that sacrifice. And not only understand the sacrifice for those fallen, but think of their families too. We need to understand it.
Without remembering, you don't understand what people had to go through, how families have suffered.
They had a family just like us, and they had to leave their families to protect us.
We should continue helping them. We should continue remembering them.
When I was younger, to me, being patriotic meant wearing red, white, and blue and holding a flag. As I grow older, I realize what those colors symbolize and why it is important to display them. Valor, bravery, purity, innocence, vigilance, perseverance, and justice symbolize the characteristics of those who serve our country.
What inspired me to serve was for the past few generations of my family, there's always been 1 or 2 people who enlist. So it's just kind of carrying that on.
My wanting to give back to my nation, give back and protect the people that have been able to care for me so much.
It's the call for me to serve for my country. What made me know it was the call was JROTC. All the discipline that I earned, all the honor that I had in doing things like the Memorial Day service.
What inspired me to enlist was just the discipline factor. I just think that's something for me.
What inspired me to serve really was the sacrifices I got to see at a young age that my father made when he served for 27 years. I realized the opportunity that came with the sacrifice.
My parents, they were both in the Marine Corps. They taught me growing up to give back to my community as they have to theirs.
I just wanted to give back to my country, my community, everybody that has helped me.
I think it's very important for a young man like myself to participate and selfless serve.
Patriotism is not a feeling, it's an act. It's choices you make every day to support our country by supporting its people and honoring those who have not only served, but also those who have given the ultimate sacrifice, their lives. This is patriotism, being a good representative of our nation, both at home and abroad.
As we prepare to celebrate our nation's 250th birthday, Memorial Day calls us to reflect on our beginnings, on the vision of those who sought to form a more perfect union, and on the courage of those who took up arms to secure for future generations the enduring blessings of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. A promise first declared in 1776 and preserved generation after generation by those willing to answer that call.
What stands out to me throughout all of America's 250 years has always been the sense of hope in our country. There's always been stability and a strong sense of family.
What stands out to me is how far that we've gotten from the 250 years. From the very first year, we just had the Navy, and now we have all these different types of militaries. It shows how far we've gone as a country, also how far we've gone as people working together.
This sense of togetherness and camaraderie is what ends up lasting generations and leading us into a better future.
250 years of service is a lot of years. That's a lot of sacrifice.
How many generations of people have given up their lives.
It's a lot of sacrifice that came to get us to this point of 250 years.
Even though the times has changed, the sacrifice and it going into the military hasn't. Whether it was 1776 or 2026, it's all the same sacrifice.
250 years of sacrifice is a heavy weight that I carry on my shoulders every day as an American who appreciates the rights and liberties that are given to me.
250 years is not very long. Sounds like a long time, and we've made a lot of ground. There's still more things that we can do to make this place better.
There is a mechanism for us to keep going forward, to keep working for that more perfect union. But it doesn't come free, it doesn't come easy.
Remember the lives that were lost protecting us and how lucky we are and blessed we are to be in this country and the freedom that we have.
Take away the feeling of gratitude going forward for all the men and women who have served and all the men and women we've lost.
Remembering those who have fallen is not just about one day, it's about every day. By just remembering that those things that we take for granted now, we're not for free.
We are where we are because of the people willing to serve. And that comes with a sacrifice that we should be grateful for.
Since 1776, heroes of this country have been needing to be honored. And I believe this holiday is a necessity for us to take a day out of our year to remember the sacrifices they made.
Today, we remember.
Class of 1965, Dennis Philip Martin, class of 1968, and Ryan Kenneth Iannelli, class of 2002. In addition to our 4 graduates, Robert E. Monahan, who attended Kingsway Regional High School, also lost his life in Vietnam in 1967. Through this annual ceremony, we will continue to ensure that the character, their deeds, and the sacrifices of these outstanding men and soldiers are never forgotten, and we express eternal gratitude to these men and to their families. To all of the men and women who have lost their lives in defense of this great country, we honor your memory and express our sincerest thank you. To all of the families who have lost loved ones who died defending their country, be comforted in the knowledge that their deeds will not be forgotten. As a gesture of gratitude, let's please give these families a round of applause. At this time, on behalf of the high school administrative team, I would like to acknowledge those faculty and staff members who serve on the Memorial Day Committee. Please stand to be acknowledged for your hard work and dedication to this ceremony. Thank you also to our technology team, music department, custodial and cafeteria staff, and our maintenance team for your contributions as well. I would also like to acknowledge Dr. James Lavender, our superintendent, and our members of the Board of Education who are with us today. Mrs. Jennifer Cavallero Frum, Mrs. Lauren Borland, Dr. Michelle Blair, Mrs. Kelly Bonifel, Mrs. April Palazzo, and Mrs. Marilyn O'Rourke Young, as well as all of our members of the administrative team, faculty and staff, parents, and students for their continued support of this program. At this time, I would also like to thank all of our guests for being here today. Guests from our sending schools, members of our local law enforcement, our local municipalities, and the entire community, as well as the following guests. From our Gloucester County Board of Commissioners, Commissioner Deputy Director Mr. Jim Jefferson, Commissioner Conowell, Commissioner Bianco, Mayor of Woolwich Township, Ms. Natalie Mathias, Deputy Mayor of Woolwich Township, Mr. Michael Nocentino, Woolwich Township Committeeman, Mr. Craig Frederick, Woolwich Township Committee Woman, Ms. Jackie Williams, Mayor of East Greenwich Township, Mr. Jim Philbin, Deputy Mayor of East Greenwich Township, Mr. Rick Schober, Greenwich Township Committeeman, Mr. Bob Tice, East Greenwich Township Committee Woman, Ms. Eileen Hollingshead, and our Swedesboro Councilwoman, Ms. Joanna Ayers. I also would like to thank our Woolwich Township Police Department, Chief Daniels, Captain Borelli, and Lieutenant Beckett. From our VFW Post 10886, Senior Vice Commander, Mr. Joe Giambrone, Commander Burl King, and Mr. Tom Coleman, former Kingsway Regional High School principal. Thank you all for taking the time to be a part of our ceremony. I would like to recognize at this time all of those veterans and soldiers of the U.S. military who are seated behind me today, and all those who have served in defense of our country. We offer you a profound thank you for putting your lives on the line so that the past, present, and future generations can be free. Thank you for your service to our country. At this time, will all veterans in attendance, wherever you are seated, please stand so that we may show you our appreciation. Additionally, I'd like to now announce some of our class of 2026 who have taken the oath to enlist. We are going to show our appreciation for those members of our Kingsway Regional High School class of 2026 who have officially committed to serve our country. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing. I ask that everyone hold their applause until all students have been announced. Jolie Abreu, U.S. Navy, ROTC. Luke Dodelin, U.S. Marine Corps, ROTC. Daniel Fandora, U.S. Army. Jack Hickman, U.S. Air Force Reserves. Jeremy Azari, U.S. Army. Evan Neal, U.S. Navy, ROTC. Connor Pedrozzani, U.S. Navy, ROTC. Isaac Pampa, U.S. Army, ROTC. Gavin Renner, U.S. Navy. Eliza Santana, U.S. Army. Hassan Teray, U.S. Army. Alexis Zagorski, U.S. Navy. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to those members of the class of 2026.
As you entered this morning, you may have noticed a small table in the center of the room to honor our POW MIAs. The table is small, symbolizing the frailty of one, prisoner alone against his oppressors. It is set for one. This table is our way of recognizing the fact that members of our profession of arms are absent from our midst. Missing in action, MIA, is the official designation when the fate of the person is not known. If it is determined that the enemy has captured him or her, then the official designation is changed to prisoner of war, POW. We call them comrades. They are unable to be with us this morning, and so we remember them. The white tablecloth represents the purity of their response to our country's call to arms. Remember. The empty chair depicts an unknown face representing no specific soldier, sailor, Marine, airman, or guardian, but all who are not here with us. Remember. The table is round to show that our concern for them is never ending. Remember. The Bible represents faith in a higher power and the pledge to our country founded as one nation under God. Remember. The black napkin stands for the emptiness these warriors have left in the hearts of their families and friends. Remember. The single red rose reminds us of their families and loved ones, and the red ribbon represents the love of our country, which inspired them to answer the nation's call. Remember. The candle and its yellow ribbon symbolizes the everlasting hope for a joyous reunion with those yet accounted for. Remember. The slice of lemon on the bread plate reminds us of their bitter fate. Remember. The salt upon the bread plate represents the tears of their families. Remember. The wine glass, turned upside down, reminds us of our distinguished comrades cannot be with us to drink a toast or join us in the festivities this morning. Remember.
Remember. Remember their sacrifices. You who served with them and called them comrades, and you who witnessed our observance. Let us also remember service members and civil servants currently in harm's way, for all of us who depend upon their skill and aid in protecting our American freedoms.
Remember.
We will now hear a musical selection, The Pride of America, by our Kingsway Regional School Concert Band and Dragon Singers under the direction of Mr. Joe Henderson and Mr. Patrick Carpenter, followed by our student speaker, Jude Palazzo.
The United States Army. The United States Marine Corps. States the United States Navy. The United States Coast Guard.
We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through the service, storm and howling, thy shall on purpose be. Send prophecies our God, our name and will return. To fight, to save, to fight and fight, fight the stars and
The United States Air Force.
off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sky. Hailing clouds and its wings are thunder, at our voice ever the night. Down the night, through the flame from under, off the wars and the wars. We live and
Honor isn't given. Honor is earned through courage, service, and selfless sacrifice. As we come together today, we celebrate more than just another Memorial Day. As a school, as a community, and as a country, we unite to remember 250 years of brave men and women that paid the ultimate sacrifice in order for us to be in this room today. When thinking of Memorial Day and the countless heroes we honor, it's easy to focus on showing respect and paying homage on a surface level. But today, as we approach the 250th birthday of our country, I challenge you to look deeper. I challenge you to look deeper into the families, friends, talents, and promises set aside to put your safety at the forefront. I challenge you to always remember the indescribable courage that our fallen soldiers possessed to put their country before themselves. As a community at Kingsway, I challenge you to look deeper into the students who had this special courage. Stefano James Fiducioso, Donald Lee Corbin, Dennis Philip Martin, and Captain Ryan K. Iannelli. And imagine how they once walked the hallways, led their classes, and represented Kingsway with pride until the point of their ultimate sacrifice. Growing up in this community, I had the privilege of playing in the Captain Ryan K. Ionelli Memorial Home Run Derby each year. Year by year, I was able to learn more about Ryan, how involved he was within Kingsway, and how much of a profound impact he had on his community. As family, friends, and comrades spoke before the Home Run Derby each year, it was increasingly clear that Captain Ionelli had a special spirit about him that radiated to each person he encountered. To think that he was once a student and such a well-rounded person within Kingsway, and that he decided to dedicate himself to the protection of our country in Afghanistan, makes me have the ultimate respect for him. Each year, right before the Derby began, there's a special flyover and balloon release. Witnessing the Cobra helicopters graciously soar overhead while the memorial music played always ignited a special feeling inside of me. And I hope I can always remember the patriotism and security I felt in those moments, which was all made possible because of the unforgettable sacrifices that millions of American soldiers have made throughout our nation's decorated 250-year history. Just like Ryan, Stefano, Donald, and Dennis were once young students with dreams, hopes, and passions. Yet when their country called, they each answered without hesitation. Different times called for different responses, but whether it was the struggles in Vietnam or the threat of terrorism after 9/11, each young man stepped up to protect what they believed in. These dragons' exceptional bravery reflects a pattern repeated over American history. Ordinary men and women pushing forward to protect freedom, democracy, and the promise of a better future for the generations that follow, no matter the cost. I'm blessed to have been raised with two wonderful service members within my own family. My grandfather, Captain Anthony Palazzo, who is a Naval Academy graduate and Navy pilot, and my great-grandfather, Sergeant James Bordenero, who was a World War II Marine. While they served, both carried an extraordinary obligation to protect their country, whether it was against the spread of communism in the Cold War era or the rise of fascism during World War II. I will always be in debt to them for their service and the values of respect they instilled in me. I'm proud to talk about them both and continue to speak of them, for they and the rest of our country's soldiers should never be forgotten. On Memorial Day and forever, I will remember their fallen comrades' fortitude, the same fortitude that allows me to stand here today telling their stories. Each sacrifice we honor preserves values that we often take for granted: the freedom to speak, to express ourselves, and to pursue our dreams. The fact that I am speaking here today should be entirely attributed to the soldiers who fought and still fight for our freedoms across the globe. As we continue to work through each day, I hope we remember the living debt that we carry with us, with every hug, every smile, and every word we share. Don't allow this debt to weigh on you. Instead, be joyful, be grateful, and always make the most of the path that our fallen veterans have paved for us throughout history. Their honor was earned throughout 250 years, so let's never forget that it's our responsibility to uphold it. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to listen to a musical selection, When the Earth Stands Still, by the Kingsway Dragon Singers under the direction of Mr. Patrick Carpenter.
There's no catching heartbeat as we both dissolve. Now hold me, will you take the time to hold me and embrace the chill? Or miss me, will you take the time to miss me when the earth stands still? 'Cause there's no use running, 'cause the storm's still coming, and you've been running for so many years. So stay with me, held in my arms like branches of a tree. They'll shelter you for many more, so many more. So stay with me.
Each year, our Memorial Day ceremony invites us to pause, reflect, and remember. This year, as we mark our 31st Memorial Day program and look ahead to our nation's 250th anniversary, 250 years of sacrifice, it reminds us that the freedoms we enjoy today have been preserved across generations by those willing to serve something greater than themselves. It is in that spirit that I had the distinct honor of introducing this morning's keynote speaker. Colonel Paul Rumberger is a veteran of both the Iraq and Afghanistan wars and a retired officer of the United States Army whose 36 years of service reflect a lifetime commitment to duty, leadership, and country. Commissioned as an infantry officer in 1990 through the Kutztown University ROTC program, he rose through the ranks, serving in key leadership roles from platoon leader to battalion and brigade commander, ultimately concluding his distinguished career as the Joint Counter-Drug Task Force commander for the state of New Jersey. Colonel Rumberger served in combat in Iraq as the Baghdad International Zone Forwarding Operating Bases governor, and later commanded the 117th Combat Sustainment Support Battalion in Kandahar, Afghanistan. His service has been recognized with numerous awards, including the Legion of Merit, the Bronze Star, and the Defense Meritorious Service Medal. Beyond his accomplishments in uniform, Colonel Rumberger represents the very ideals we honor today: sacrifice, service, steadfast leadership. Alongside his wife, Lieutenant Colonel Katie Rumberger, United States Army retired, and their daughters Madison and Julia, he continues to embody the enduring strength of military families. In the spirit of our theme, Colonel Rumberger stands as a living example of those who have carried forward the responsibility of defending our nation across the generations. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in honoring and welcoming our keynote speaker, Colonel Paul Rumberger, United States Army, retired.
Wow, what a crowd. Man, oh man, this is great. Wonderful, wonderful to be here, and thank you for inviting me. Good morning, Dr. Lavender, honored guests, fellow veterans, service members, most of all Kingsway students, families, and friends. Today we gather, to remember and to answer a quiet, solemn call that has echoed across 250 years of our nation's story. 2.5 centuries ago, people rose to say a people could govern themselves, and that liberty is not a privilege to be granted, but a right to be secured. They lit a spark that has required courage ever since, courage from those who fought on distant fields, and courage from those who stayed at home to bear the burden. As I stand before you as a volunteer, someone who chose to wear the nation's uniform, I wear the title of veteran with humility. For most of us who served, that choice was deeply personal. Voluntary service is not a statistic nor a policy. It's a life-altering commitment to others. It means trading ordinary mornings for training, deployments, and duties few will fully understand. Memorial Day asks us to remember those volunteers who made the ultimate sacrifice. They gave more than time or comfort. They gave the future of their families and the promises of our nation. Their lives reflects the ideals born in 1776. The willingness to stand against injustice, to risk everything for others so they may be free. The names on our memorials, plaques, headstones, and things that we wear every single day belong to people who answered the same call across different centuries in different uniforms. The same commitment to the principles that bind all of us. Every volunteer brings a different story. Some enlisted at 18 to find purpose. Others joined later in life to answer a call. Some followed family tradition. Others sought a better future. What unites them is the steady exchange their choice demands. Time for duty, comfort for service, certainty for risk. As we mark the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution, let us remember how each generation's sacrifice has kept that original promise. Starting in the Revolutionary War, believe it or not, right here from Salem County, farmers who enlisted under the guise of Henry Lighthorse Lee, tradesmen, and ordinary citizens left fields and shops to endure cold winters at Valley Forge, long marches, short supplies, risking everything for independence. The War of 1812 and the Mexican-American War. Young volunteers faced harsh conditions, disease, with limited medical care, accepting high mortality and illness as they fought to defend and define the nation. The Civil War, the bloodiest war in American history. Brothers fought brothers. Sisters fought sisters. Volunteers endured staggering casualty rates and unimaginable loss, with communities across the country burying a generation and rebuilding in grief. World War I, the war to end all wars, right? Citizen soldiers crossed oceans into trench warfare, facing artillery barrages, gas attacks, the psychological strain of industrialized warfare. World War II, millions volunteered for globalization, sailors at sea for months, Marines in brutal island fights, airmen on long bombing runs, and the families at home, rationed, worked in war factories, and waited for letters that sometimes never came home. Korean and Vietnam veterans. Volunteers fought in harsh terrains and climates, often with unclear public support at home. Many returned carrying invisible scars and wounds to the eye and faced difficult transitions back into civilian life. the Cold War, deployments and peacekeeping, service meant decades of vigilance, extended tours, and readiness that constrained family life while preventing larger conflicts. And so many of us here today, thank you. Gulf War, Afghanistan, and Iraq. Modern volunteers endured repeated deployments, urban combat, and the ever-present improvised explosive device threats, and the long-term health consequences of those multiple deployments while the families at home sustained homes through prolonged uncertainty. Humanitarian missions and disaster responses, service members repeatedly volunteering to deploy after hurricanes, earthquakes, and pandemics, putting themselves at risk to protect and aid civilians at home and abroad. These are not abstract stories. These are examples of real people who stood between danger and others, choosing the harder path so others could live freely. That choosing, freely and knowingly, is what makes their sacrifice so profound. To the students here today, you are the inheritors of these stories. The freedoms you enjoy, the right to speak, to learn, to vote, rest on a bridge built by those who came before. Some of you among you, obviously, thank you very much for your obviously volunteering to choose and to serve. And I know that your sacrifice will not be anonymous. It will protect neighbors, sustain your families, and preserve the liberties we often take for granted. Your service will be a living continuation of the revolution's promise. Citizens stepping forward to keep this experiment in liberty alive. To the volunteers that served and to their families who bore their burdens, we see you, we honor you, and we will carry your stories forward. To the fallen, we remember. To their families, we serve. To all who have worn and who have worn the uniform, we are forever grateful. But may the sacrifices of the past guide us toward the better angels of our nature as we enter the next 250 years. Thank you very much.
At this time, I would like to present the Captain Ryan K. Ionelli Memorial Scholarship. This scholarship opportunity was open to all 2026 Kingsway Regional High School graduating seniors. The task was to compose an original 300 to 500 word essay entitled Proud to be an American. Within this essay, the student was asked to address 3 key questions. What gives you pride to be an American? What do you appreciate about living in America? And what are your prayers for America's future? Today, I have the honor of awarding a $1,000 scholarship to one very deserving dragon, Braden Thorpe.
United States was founded on the ideals of freedom, justice, and equality. Our nation stands as a shining beacon of liberty and freedom to the world. We thank those who gave their lives to keep us free, and we shall not forget you. We shall remember. There are many men and women serving today in all branches of the military, here at home, and in places far away that most of us have never heard of. These men and women are part of the best trained, best equipped force in the world. We honor them and their families for the sacrifices they make each day to keep our country safe from terrorism, hatred, and injustice. Quoting our 40th United States President, Ronald Reagan, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same, or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in the United States where men were free." Since World War I, over 142,000 Americans have been captured and interned as POWs. And currently, there is an estimated to be an additional 81,500 Americans who are listed as MIA. Today, we show a united front of gratitude and respect as we remember the fallen, honor those who serve, and teach our children the value of freedom.
(1776 to 1826), the birth of the nation. 250 years ago, a new nation was born in revolution. Farmers, merchants, and tradesmen took up arms to defend an idea that all people are created equal. In the years that followed, Americans again fought to defend their independence and secure the survival of the young republic. We place this wreath in honor of those who fought to create and defend the United States of America.
(1826 to 1876), a nation divided and tested. As the nation expanded westward, Americans fought new wars abroad and at home. The Civil War would become the deadliest conflict in our history, testing whether the nation founded in 1776 could survive. We place this wreath in honor of the Americans who gave their lives in a time when the nation itself was at stake.
(1876 to 1926), America steps onto the world stage. By the end of the 19th century, the United States had emerged as a global power. American soldiers would soon cross oceans to fight in distant lands during the First World War. We place this wreath in honor of those who carried America's ideals beyond its shores.
1926 to 1976, defending freedom around the world. In the 20th century, Americans fought across Europe, Africa, Asia, and the Pacific to defend freedom and resist tyranny. From the beaches of Normandy to the mountains of Korea and the jungles of Vietnam, millions served and many never returned home. We place this wreath in honor of the generation that defended freedom across the world.
(1976 to 2026), service in the modern era. For the last 50 years, Americans have continued to serve in defense of our nation and our allies. In deserts, mountains, and cities across the globe, service members have carried forward a legacy that began in 1776. We place this wreath in honor of those who continue to serve and sacrifice today. For 250 years, Americans have stood watch so that our nation might endure. Today, we remember those who gave their lives so that the story of America could continue.
These wreaths are laid in remembrance who served and are serving in the United States Army, the United States Marine Corps, the United States Navy, the United States Air Force, the United States Space Force, the United States Coast Guard, the United States Merchant Marines. In honor, the 93,129 United States servicemen from all branches of the service, whose last known status was either prisoners of war or missing in action. These individuals have never returned to their families and homes. We shall not forget you.
At this time, we are nearing the end of our program, and I ask that you remain as respectful and attentive as you have until this point. We are now going to honor the service members who have made the ultimate sacrifice to protect our freedoms.
This flag represents the servicemen that have fought and died in the Revolutionary War. And this flag represents the servicemen that have fought and died in the Civil War.
This flag represents all those service members who fought and died in World War I.
This flag represents all those service members who fought and died in World War II.
This flag represents all those service members who fought and died in the Korean War.
This flag represents all those service members who fought and died in the Vietnam War.
This flag represents all those service members who fought and died in the wars of Iraq and Afghanistan.
flag represents Donald Lee Corbin, class of 1965, who fought and died in the Vietnam War.
This flag represents Stefano James Fiducioso, class of 1965, who fought and died in the Vietnam War.
This flag represents Dennis Philip Martin, class of 1968, who fought and died in the Vietnam War.
This flag represents Ryan K. Iannelli, class of 2002, who fought and died in the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
We will remain standing as our JRTC retires our colors.
For heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country love.
something like this. Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple in majesties. Above the fruited plain.
Okay, everyone in the gym can be seated, and in just a few seconds, I'm going to